It's Monday, January 12th. It's 5:31 PM. I'm going to call the Board of Selectmen meeting to order. Ann?
Here.
Charlie?
Recording in progress.
Here. Jenny?
Here.
Steve?
Here.
And I'm Andy. First item on the agenda tonight, we're going to do the town warrant articles. Article 1 is the folks that we're voting for to replace the offices that are gonna become vacant. We have, 2 members of the Board of Selectmen for a term of 3 years, 1 for a term of 1 year, 1 trustee of the trust fund for 3 years, 1 member of the Board of Library Trustees for 3 years, 1 member of the Budget Committee for 3 years, 1 cemetery trustee for a term of 3 years, 1 cemetery trustee for a term of 2 years, the treasurer for 3 years, the supervisor of the checklist for a term of 6 years, and another supervisor of the checklist for 2 years. I'm gonna make a motion that we approve Article 1.
Second.
Sorry, I said that wrong. I'm gonna make a motion that we
Vote on Article 1. Whether to approve or...
vote on the recommendation of Article 1. And I have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is Article 2. It's a compact zone, and I don't see anybody from the planning board here tonight. The compact zone is used, there will be a map at the voting polls that shows you what the,
Recording in progress.
It dropped out again.
oh, good. That shows you what the compact zone is. This is gonna, the chief needs it for, several things. Fireworks, firearms, that type of thing. Anything else, chief?
More or less covers it.
Okay. So we're trying to define the compact zone. It will be on the warrant. We don't have the map tonight.
It's in the back.
Yes.
Is it in the back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry we're late. Thank you, Benny. Thanks, guys.
Yes, the chief will comment on the purpose.
Chief, can you comment on the purpose, please?
Can you comment on the purpose of this article?
The purpose of it,
Yes.
and you already did.
No, well, why do we need a compact zone? What's it enable
Well,
you to do?
the compact zone is by it's statutorily definition. So there is already a definition by statute defining what a compact zone is in towns. Well, what's been done here is to more narrowly focus it. So you can't broaden it, but you can narrowly focus it even more. So we have some areas in town that realistically, so a compact zone is defined specifically by so many houses or so many
Recording in
dwellings
progress.
being within so many feet of each other. We have some areas in town, primarily for our purposes, when it comes to, we'll use an example of discharging firearms. So if you're outside of that compact zone, you're legally allowed to discharge a firearm there as long as you're not doing certain other parameters, but for purposes of use. If you're within that, if you're outside of that compact zone, you can discharge a firearm. There are still plenty of areas in town that, although they don't quite meet the statutory requirement of a compact zone, it's still not safe to do so, because you're shooting in a unsafe direction, and
We're not
it's
gonna have a
obviously
recording
quite
of
loud,
this,
and
except for them.
lots of other factors that come into play there. So what we've done is,
Recording in progress.
the previous town ordinance for fireworks
Recording stopped.
and firearms and things like that, was from November of 1978, I think, off the top of my head.
Yeah.
And it had a lot of landmarks in there that quite literally nobody in town could tell me what they were, because it referred to people's houses in a big rock and a big oak tree over here, that none of that stuff is even there anymore. And nobody even knew the residences that people were talking about when it was done. So it needed to be revamped. In doing so, I worked with the planning board and the selectmen to come up with what made the most sense for, I hate to use the word enforcement, but realistically, that's what it really is for. It's for safety and enforcement purposes. So this seemed to be, the outlines here with the mapping seemed to make the most sense safety-wise, and for places that all parties kind of figured were not the best places to be shooting firearms off. I can answer the question.
But this is initiated by the police department there, and you've made the determination at the department that this is the area that you believe needs to stay.
Well, I made certain recommendations, and most of those I think were met. Some of them were not, but for the most part, through Kendall and the rest of the planning board and myself and some members of the board, we came up with this map and this plan, and it seemed like it makes the most sense for what we have going on in town and for safety.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, so the compact zone is defined as all properties abutting New Hampshire Route 3, Main Street, Riverside Drive, extending from Interstate 93 overpass to River Street and Winona Road. All properties abutting West Street to include North Street and Hillside Avenue. All properties abutting School Street. All properties abutting Highland Street up to Summer Street. All properties situated between Highland Street and New Hampshire Route 3. Properties abutting Summer Street, Spring Street, Prospect Street, Cottage Place, and Cottage Avenue. All properties abutting Thompson Street, extending from Main Street to High Street, and those abutting High Street and Potter Place. All properties situated between Route 3, Main Street, and Depot Street and Winter Street. All properties situated between Winona Road and Carr Avenue, including those situated on Washington Street and Ames Drive. Properties along Depot Street extending from Main Street to the railroad tracks. All properties situated between Collins Street and Depot Street extending to the New Hampton town line. And there's an asterisk, includes all developments that house 3 or more units, as well as mobile home parks. This will be posted in the voting area. There will also be a map in the voting area. Need a motion on the compact zone?
I'll make a motion to recommend the creation of a compact zone as specified.
And I'll second that. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda, on the next article, Article 3, will be the a zoning ordinance mixed-use district. The district boundaries are shown on a map. It begins at the Holderness Town line at Route 3 and 25 to Cottage Street on the right side of the road as you come into town, and then from Cottage Street to Main Street on both sides of the road. Geographical area, yeah, okay. The general purpose is intended to guide growth, to preserve the rural character of the town. They have a chart, and again, this will all be in the voting area for everybody to see while they're voting. We'll need a recommendation on this, please.
I'll make the recommendation that the article mixed-use zone is,
And I'll second it. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Article 4 will be a blasting ordinance. We have no blasting ordinance at this time. This is 4 pages long. There are a lot of definitions here. This will be posted, all of these are going to be posted on the website, by the way. What they're trying to do here is to, if anybody's gonna blast in town, we wanna know it. When blasting was done the last time, that didn't happen. We found out when the boom went off. I'll make a motion that we recommend the blasting ordinance.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is Article 5 excavation ordinance. They are changing some of the rules for the excavation. We already have an excavation ordinance. They're changing some of the rules to have better control. Do I have a recommendation on the excavation rules?
I have a question.
Sure.
I'm looking at some of the changes, like at least on the front page, it's, the number of feet or yards that are being taken out. Do we know what other communities are doing? Is this in line with what's going on in other communities, or do we know?
I believe so.
I know the time is late, but we really haven't discussed this in detail. And I think it's just really hard to vote on something that you don't appreciate the details of.
Okay, so let's table this and we'll come back to it at our next meeting. I'll see if we can get KB here to explain it to us.
He's online.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Okay, KB, can you explain this to us, please?
So what we did was we talked with some contractors, and the old one allowed 17 10-wheeler loads of earth to be moved before a permit was required. This breaks that down to a single-family house lot. So if you were to put a single-family house in, that's the amount of cubic yards. On a commercial, we dropped it from 1,000 to 300 so that we would have a better control over what's happening with it. We also removed so that you can't go to a property and bury stumps and other debris that shouldn't be buried anyways because they cause sinkholes and so forth. This allows us to not do that. And it just, those are really the only changes in this. Everything else was pre-existing.
Well, Kendall, why do we need the lowered amounts? They don't seem to be, the original amounts don't seem to be that significant, and the change really restricts it. What's the thinking? Was the original amount causing a problem? Were people doing things that,
We have a situation ongoing where someone was removing excessive amounts that were equal to 1,000, so they keep telling us. I believe our engineer is going to tell us that that's much more what he's removed. But this would just lower the threshold so that we're more in line with the AOT permits and all.
Any further questions, folks? Do you still want to table this for the time being?
I'm still not comfortable. Mr.
Okay.
Chairman.
We'll table this till the next time. We'll come back to it. Article 6, no tax impact. To see if the town of Ashland will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $500,000 for the purpose of all work needed to identify, engineer, purchase materials, and replace water system services, improving compliance with the federal lead and copper rule. Such sum to be raised by issuance of bonds or notes not to exceed $500,000 under and in compliance with the provisions of the Municipal Finance Act, New Hampshire RSA 31:1, as recommended. To authorize the Board of Selectmen to issue and negotiate such bonds or notes, and to determine the date and terms of payment and rate of interest thereon. Further, to take such other actions as may be necessary to effect the issuance, negotiation, sale, and delivery of such bonds or notes that shall be in the best interest of the town of New Hampshire. And to further authorize the Board of Selectmen to apply for, accept, expand unanticipated money from the state, federal, and other government unit or a private source which becomes available pursuant to the RSA 31:95-B for the same or similar purposes of this article.
Marissa.
So this is for the water department. If some of you on the water systems know, we did a survey for lead line identification. Money has become available through the state, and there would be a 66% principal forgiveness. So we're actually asking to authorize up to $500,000 with up to 66% of it being forgiven. And this will be able to finish the lead line survey project, as well as replacement and engineering.
Is there a drop dead date on this? Meaning, does this particular project have to be done by a certain date?
We have been provided guidance that if we do not have this passed this year, these funds will not be available next year.
Can I have a recommendation from the board, please?
I will make the recommendation that we adopt this, but it's with some concern. We're dipping into our credit cards here at the town. And, you know, this bond thing is kind of, keeps on going. I mean, we need to do this. It's an infrastructure project, and part of our responsibility here is to keep the town whole. And this is necessary to keep the town whole. So that's the basis of the recommendation, although I'm just so concerned at the fact that we're doing this and we're doing things on credit, and this is going to come home to roost in future years. And I don't see this being the end of it. So we've really got to think our way through how we're going to do this better in the future.
So this is mandated by the federal government? This is something that we have to do. It's just a matter of how we're going to do it. So I have a motion, and I'll second. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Frank.
this is for the verification of the materials of construction for the lead, you
Yeah.
know, that there's no lead.
Yeah.
And do you have an estimate for what it costs to do it for the town?
So currently, we're estimating this project to actually come in under 400,000, but if we don't authorize the additional, we would be stuck in this limbo of having to ask for more when the time has already run out.
And it
But we would only issue what we need, not the full amount if we don't need the full amount.
only gonna draw what we need, and then the 66% forgiveness.
Any
There will
further
be a
questions?
public hearing on this next Tuesday.
Any further questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Article 7, Town Budget. Shall the town of Ashland vote to raise and appropriate as an operating budget, not including appropriations by special warrant articles and other appropriations voted separately, the amount set forth on the budget posted with the warrant as amended by vote of the first session for the purposes as set forth within totaling $4,117,706. Should this article be defeated, the default budget shall be $4,003,067, which is the same as last year, with certain adjustments required by previous action of the town of Ashland or by law, or the governing body may hold one special meeting in accordance with RSA 40:13 X and XVI to take up the issue of revised operating budget only. I'll need a recommendation, board.
I'll make a recommendation.
So I have a motion for a recommendation. Do I have a second?
I'll second that recommendation, again, with a caveat that says, we, have come out of a period where expenses have been increasing significantly. We've all reviewed these budget line items. There are things that we need to run the town. However, I believe that we've got to spend more time and effort as curtailing some of these price increases that we're subject to going forward. Because budgets are increasing at a rate that I think, is beginning to be a burden to the average resident. So I will second it with that condition.
So I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is the Ashland Electric budget. Shall the town of Ashland vote to raise and appropriate as the Ashland Electric Department operating budget, not including appropriations by special warrant articles and other appropriations voted separately, The amount set on the budget posted with the warrant as amended by vote of the first section for the purposes set forth therein totaling $4,125,826. Should this article be defeated, the default budget shall be $3,553,636, which is the same as last year with certain adjustments required by previous action of the town of Ashland or by law, or the governing body may hold one special meeting in accordance with RSA 40:13 X and XVI to take up the issue of a revised operating budget only. Do I have a recommendation?
I'll make the recommendation that we recommend this article. The reason for that recommendation, even though the budget increase is significant, is we know we had to absorb this cost with the contract negotiations. We've got known infrastructure issues that we're dealing with, including the separate bond issue. And that, based on the numbers that I've seen, the required revenue to run the electrical department is represented fairly in this article, this budget article. And we need to approve it.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
So I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Article 9, Water Department Budget. Shall the town of Ashland vote to raise and appropriate as the Ashland Water Department operating budget, not including appropriations by special warrant articles and other appropriations voted separately. The amount set forth on the budget posted with the warrant or as amended by the vote of the first session for the purposes set forth therein totaling $408,365. Should this article be defeated, the default budget shall be $399,086, which is the same as last year, with certain adjustments required by previous action of the town of Ashland or by law, or the governing body may hold one special meeting in accordance with RSA 40:13 X and XVI to take up the issue of a revised operating budget only. Do I have a recommendation?
I'll make a recommendation.
Second.
So I have a recommendation to approve and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Article 10, Sewer Department Budget. Again, no tax impact. Shall the town of Ashland vote to raise and appropriate as the Ashland Sewer Department operating budget, not including appropriations by special warrant articles and other appropriations made separately? The amount set forth on the budget posted with the warrant or as amended by vote of the first section for the purposes set forth therein totaling $847,327. Should this article be defeated, the default budget shall be $837,113, which is the same as last year, with certain adjustments required by previous action of the town of Ashland or by law, or the governing body may hold one special meeting in accordance with RSA 40:13 X and XVI to take up the issue of revised operating budget only. Do I have a recommendation?
I'll recommend it.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Article 11. Shall the town of Ashland vote to approve the cost items included in the collective bargaining agreement reached between the Ashland Board of Selectmen and the SEIU Local 984 Union, which calls for the following increase in salaries and benefits at the current staffing level. 26, it's gonna cost $49,934. That's for 39 weeks. In 27, it's gonna cost $25,283. In 28, for 52 weeks, it's gonna cost $26,042. And in 29, for 13 weeks, it's gonna cost $8,681. And further, to raise and appropriate $49,930.34 for the current fiscal year, such sum representing the additional cost attributable to the increase in salaries and benefits required by the new agreement over those that would be paid at current staffing levels, and said sum to come from general fund unassigned fund balance. $34,908. And further, to fund the balance of the appropriation in the amount of $11,269 from the electric, $1,878 from the water income, and $1,878 from the sewer income, with no funds to be raised from property taxes. Do I have a recommendation on this?
I'll recommend it.
I have a recommendation to approve Article 11. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Article 12.
Andy,
Hang on. Go ahead.
it should read Article 11 in the next one.
Yes, I was just looking at that.
Yep.
Do a quick pen and ink change here. Article 12, shall the town of Ashland, if Article 11 is defeated, authorize the governing body to call a special meeting at its option to address article cost items only. And I'll make a recommendation that we approve that.
I'll second.
I have a recommendation to approve and a second. Do we have any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Article 13, master plan. To see if the town, the tax impact on the master plan is 2 cents. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $10,000 for the purpose of starting the process of updating the town of Ashland master plan.
I would recommend that article.
I'll second.
I have a recommendation and a second. Do I have any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Article 14, contingency fund. Shall the town of Ashland vote to establish contingency fund for the current year for unanticipated expenses that may arise and appropriate $100,000 to be deposited into the fund? The sum to come from the unassigned fund balance and no amount to be raised from taxation. Any appropriation left in the contingency fund at the end of the year will lapse to the general fund. Majority vote required.
I'll make the recommendation.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second everywhere. Any further discussion?
I have a question.
Yep,
Has this ever been done before?
I
So
think-
the contingency fund is done every year, typically it's at 25,000, however, we have anticipated legal expenses this year, but we don't know what the sum will be. So this is a lapsing, if we don't use it, it goes right back into the unassigned fund balance.
any further questions? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Article 15, Fire Department Capital Reserve Fund. Estimated tax impact, 6 cents. Shall the town of Ashland vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $25,000 to be added to the Fire Department Capital Reserve Fund established in 2013 for the purpose of repairing or purchasing fire department vehicles? Again, this is majority vote required.
I'll make the recommendation.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to recommend.
Do
Any
we,
further discussion?
do we know how much is in the fire department capital reserve as of right now?
Yep, we do. Just gotta find it. $55,233.30.
130,233, right underneath it.
Oh, okay. Perfect. So it's $130,000. Go ahead.
So I've been made aware that the town will probably have to replace one of our fire trucks in the near future. And this is a good recommendation. We can't afford to just go out and spend $1 million on a new truck, so to put money aside every year, but when that time comes, we'll make the payment a lot less. Thank you.
Yeah, I might add too that, when you order a fire truck now, it's a 3-year build time.
That's true. That's true.
Right, but you gotta get there financially. Yeah.
Yeah, we're still a long way from $1 million.
Yeah.
Yep. Did we take a vote on that?
You have not.
Okay. So I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Article 16, Police Department Car Capital Reserve Fund. Estimated tax impact, 8 cents. Shall the town of Ashland raise and appropriate the sum of $35,000 to be deposited into the Police Department Capital Reserve Fund established in 2013 for the purpose of repairing and purchasing police department vehicles? That fund right now is at $28,000, $28,264.33.
So I'm gonna buy a compact police vehicle. I'll make the recommendation.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion to recommend and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Article 16, Public Works Capital Reserve Fund, estimated tax impact, 7 cents. Shall the town of Ashland vote
I'd say
Two.
17.
17?
Article 17?
Article 17, tax impact 7 cents.
Well, and you said 16.
Did I? Sorry about that. Gee, I think I'm getting punched drunk. Shall the town of Ashland vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $30,000 to be deposited into the Department of Public Works Capital Reserve Fund established in 2016, or 2016, for the purpose of vehicles, equipment, replacement, and repairs. Again, majority vote required. Is that the one I'm looking at?
I believe so.
Public Works currently has $123,885.41 in their fund.
Is that the fund that, the work that we did on the water line on, across from, the monument up the street there? It's,
No, that was leftover ARPA funds.
those ARPA funds, okay.
Yep.
Okay, I'll make the motion that we add to that fund.
Recommend it.
So I have a motion to recommend. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion to recommend and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Article 18, Road and Bridge Capital Reserve Fund. Estimated tax impact, 7 cents. Shall the town of Ashland vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $30,000 to be deposited into the Road and Bridges Capital Reserve Fund established in 2013? Majority vote required. Road improvement, right now, they have a total of $90,605.
I'll make the recommendation.
I have a recommendation, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second, any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Article 19, Building Maintenance and Repair Capital Reserve Fund. Estimated tax impact, 2 cents. Shall the town of Ashland vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $10,000 to be deposited into the Building Maintenance and Repair Capital Reserve Fund for the purpose of maintaining and repairing all town buildings? Majority vote required. Do I have a recommendation?
I'll make that recommendation.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a recommendation and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Article 20. Compensated Leave Trust Fund Capital Reserve Fund. Estimated tax impact, 1 cent. Shall the town of Ashland vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $5,000 to be deposited into the Compensated Leave Trust Fund Capital Reserve Fund established in 2022 for the purpose of fully funding employee leave benefits over time? So, just so everybody understands, the employees are allowed to carry over vacation time. They're allowed to carry over sick time. Doing this puts the funds in a fund that we can get to it without affecting the current year budget if they leave, if they retire and go. And I'll make a motion to recommend. Do I have a second?
Second.
So I have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion, any opposed? Motion carries. Article 21, to see if the town of Ashland will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $200,000 to be added to the police department, police station capital reserve fund established in 2024 for the purpose of purchasing or constructing a police station.
The current fund, we have a current fund for this?
Yes, we do.
How much more?
19,000.
19,000 at this time. That's not gonna get you very far.
Yeah, but this is a bridge too far, and I hate to do this to the chief, because we need a police station. But the kind of money that we're spending and the commitments we're making, this just isn't in the cards as far as I can see it.
So, are you recommending not to recommend?
Well, I'll recommend not to recommend it, yes, because I would be opposed.
Okay. Do I have a second? Having no second, do I have a motion to recommend? Folks, we gotta go one way or the other here. Recommend. Do I have a second?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So if we put this 200,000 in the fund, in the capital reserve fund, it's just gonna sit there until, like, next year, we'll be looking for another 200 or something to start building up? Is that the intent?
The intent is to build it up. I don't think that will be the final figure.
So this number came from, this was initially slated as a three-phase project. The first phase was to put a committee together and come up with some potential locations and some ideas and some plans, which we did. And then the next step was, with that, we got an architect on board to help design some stuff and come up with some concepts and conceptual designs and things like that. The next step of that phase was to then get some monies together, which is what this article is for, to then come up with contractors and all the surveys done and all of the ins and outs of what it takes to build something, which I am not a contractor, so I have no idea how all that runs, right? But our architectural firm that we have been using coordinates all of that stuff. So this money would be to come up with kind of put that whole team together, and then that will get us a final build amount. This fund was also, has language in it that it can be used to upgrade or retrofit any other location, and it's not necessarily strictly for a build, although that has been where it's going. There are some other concepts and ideas in the works where this money could be used to retrofit an existing building to fit the needs of the police department. So even if it doesn't become a full-on brand new build, this money would allow us to take a next step in retrofitting a current building, or to start the process for an actual, get the final number for a build by putting that team together. So this is step 2 of the initial 3 that we had come up with.
That was another question. Is there an issue of risking your accreditation or anything if you don't do something? Where is, because I've heard that, but this is just hearsay, so I.
Sure, it's not accreditation or anything along those lines, it's insurance carrier. So there's been.
Like Primex?
Yes, so there has been, thank you. In 2019, there was an audit done, and it resulted in a 33-page document of problems and liabilities that are held within our current location, where if no progress is done, there could be a possibility that Primex would not cover an insurance claim if there was a lawsuit or a claim made against one of the numerous things in that 33-page document that is, has been addressed or identified as a problem. If we don't correct that or make any strides in correcting that, I've been able to keep them at bay to this extent by saying that we're in this process of attempting to build the building. At a certain point, I would imagine that note is gonna get called and they're gonna say, put your money where your mouth is and either make a move or don't. But if we have an insurance claim as a direct result of one of these items that has been identified as a problem, they may or may not cover that at this point. So there is a little bit, we're getting to the point where our back will be up against the wall.
And I have one more question. Have they increased our insurance rates because of the building we have right now, or have they talked about doing that?
I haven't gotten direct communication as to it's the police department, but our rates have gone up every year by double digits.
Is that unusual?
Well, this year it was mostly due to the electric, but in prior years, they don't itemize it by each building. But I would anticipate that that could be on the table at some point.
Questions?
Go
ahead.
I have two questions. What was the tax impact? I didn't hear that.
44 cents.
44 cents? And if the design phase of this, of the building gets done, is this something that the BOS reviews prior to implementation, or how does that work? Because it looked like this is all being funded out of the capital reserve without really an approval process.
I'm not exactly sure how
Well,
that will work.
Police standards and training would review the design, I would think.
No,
No?
it's up to the town to decide. So what would end up happening is the plan is, the design phase comes about, and then, you know, if there's a problem with something, I mean, realistically, you know, I think that the police department itself is probably better equipped to know what we need than the selectmen are, not anybody on the selectmen by any chance. But, you know, if there was a problem or a question, or I guess something along those lines, it could be discussed, and we could certainly explain why we implemented or designed it the way that we did.
Well, and we've also had a committee with Andy being our select board delegate, so we probably would bring that back to meetings. The design would still have to be approved through the board for it to then go on to the next one, which would be the build phase or the retrofitting phase. This isn't just something that the design comes through and then we can do it.
Sorry, Frank, I can't give you a great answer.
Town's gonna say no to this.
We'll
It's
get
gonna be
there.
voted down.
So
But-
It's too
there
high.
would be another warrant coming maybe in the future to fund building.
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
It has been brought up in the past about grants or things along those lines. We can't, the only way to get any grants for anything like this is what they refer to as shovel-ready projects. So everything has to be designed and in place so that if you get the grant, it's not something where you get the grant and then 3 years down the road, you start the build process. It has to be something that is already designed, already approved, ready to go, and then you can start to apply and look into grants. So we can't do any of that stuff yet until the design is kind of, is put in play.
Bob?
Yes, thank you. I'm Bob Letourneau, Thompson Street. I had served on the Board of Selectmen during a period of time in 2019 when we made this a high priority for the police department. The insurance company made it very clear to the board that the liability risk would not be absorbed by the insurance company if we didn't do something about it. By making these deposits and putting money aside for a new build or retrofit shows our good intentions. obviously to build a new building could be in the millions, and it would be very expensive. So we need to start planning and putting money aside, but it is our highest priority, we must have it. It is, the situation at the police department now is unsafe for our officers, unsafe for the people that they may have to detain. We do not have a holding cell there. I don't think we do, we don't have a holding cell there. So they keep a person there in a chair while they're operating business. This is unacceptable. And the other problem they have is if they have some sort of domestic problem, they have no place to take the person into a private room to deal with it. So these things have to be taken care of. It is a responsibility, this is one of government's biggest responsibilities, is fire, police, and roads and towns. So these are the things we have to do, we should do, and I approve and I hope this selectmen will pass this.
Back there.
Hi, go ahead.
Michelle will, this way.
Could you please clarify for me, Marissa or Chief?
I'm looking at the 2024 warrant articles, you know, from 2023. You asked for $25,000 then. I think we asked for, I can't remember what we asked for, you asked for last year, 50. You said there's 19 in there? I feel like you've been asking for money.
So
Different
it
articles.
was established in 2024 for 25,000, which was to get the preliminary design, which
Just
we have.
one.
And then last year, there was a citizen that made an anonymous $10,000 donation, which to put money into a CRF, you have to get the people's vote to do that. So there was one with no tax impact, just to move the donation in there. And then this exact warrant article was on last year.
Okay, right, I'm looking at Article 23 that had a tax impact of 6 cents. And it says capital reserve for the purpose of constructing a police station, that was 25 grand.
Yep, that was the original
That was the
establishment.
first one.
Yep.
Only one since 2019, since the report. And now we're coming and asking for,
200.
I mean, 25 is too small, and 200 is.
Well, 25 was to get the blueprints drawn.
Yeah.
That was to get the architectural firm. This is to get all of the team together with, you know, they gotta do soil studies and, again, I am not a contractor, so I.
It's less than 5% of what the project's
This one?
gonna cost.
What's that?
It's probably
This
less
was
than
on last year,
5% of what the
voted down.
project's
Right.
gonna
Well,
cost.
that's the whole thing, is so,
Understand.
one frustrating part about this process is that there's been a lot of numbers that get thrown around, and there are no numbers at this point. So this number, this 200,000 is to cover the cost, this is from the architectural firm, is what it's gonna take to get all the team players together and to get all the studies done and that kind of thing. I've heard, like, last year I wasn't at a selectmen's meeting and somebody threw out a number of $4 million. That number has never been brought up, that number has never been talked about, it was just thrown out there out of nowhere. So it's a little frustrating when, you know, not to knock you or anything like that, but to say that it's not even 5%, we don't know. That's the whole point of this process, is that we don't know what the final bill will cost, because we have to get all of these other things done to determine. This is part 2 of 3. How long it will take, how much money it's gonna cost to build it, I have absolutely no idea, which is why this is the next step in that process.
And the reason we broke it out that way was that we had a committee that talked about the phases and how to best present this to the community and how to kind of best go about it. And
Well, this is recommended,
we decided to go phases.
This process was recommended by an engineer
Yep.
who had literally just built a police department for an
Yep.
And they said that this was the recommended process, so that we're not overestimating or underestimating, we're getting actual numbers. And this is the step to get the actual numbers.
So,
Go ahead.
this same thing was on the warrant article last year and got voted down, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
I know we need a police department, but I just think that the 200,000 is too much. The town is gonna say no at that with the 44 cents. Can we make a motion to make it in half and make it 100 and at least some things going in, but we're not getting slammed?
I don't know that we can do that here, can we? It has to be done at the SB2.
Well, no, you can change the warrant
At
now.
this point, this is the selectmen's warrant.
This is your warrant to change.
Okay,
I'd like to make a motion to change the amount from 200,000 to 100,000.
I have another question.
hold on a second. Go ahead.
I have another question.
Go ahead.
Okay. Did you mention soil samples? So if you're looking at soil, did you say something about soil samples and what this does?
That's one of the studies that was from by the architect that may or may not have to be done.
So does that mean you have a location or?
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah, it's on Palm Street.
Oh, okay.
The
On what street?
quick version was
Collins.
that we had a committee put together and we had determined the location and where to build out and it's to the, if you're looking at the utility building on Collins Street, it would be to build out the left side.
Okay.
And it was kind of a two birds, one stone, if you will. It would fix the police department issue and it would actually create an opportunity to fix the issue with the DPW garage, which is also noted by Primex. So given that with what's there, there's monitoring wells on that property, so knowing that we would have to do studies to make sure that we're not negatively impacting it, I think is what they said. So, so that's where the soil sampling comes in.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I have a motion to change the figure to, from 200,000 to 100,000. Do I have a second for that? So what's our druther, folks? We wanna leave it at 200,000, we wanna disapprove it. I have a motion to approve it at 200,000. Do I have a second for that? We have to do something, folks. What do we wanna do?
I'll second.
So we have a motion and a second at $200,000. Do we have any further discussion?
I just feel at that amount it's gonna get voted down, especially with the electric department and everything
Yeah.
that's going on.
We've got the SB2 meeting coming up, they can change it there too.
And I still think that we are going to be facing a major expenditure here, and we need to. We need to identify a revenue source that is going to make this affordable. And that doesn't exist today, and on top of all the other increases in expenses, as desirable as this is, as important is, as Bob Letourneau pointed out, that we need to do this, we just don't have the money today, and without placing a burden on everybody here.
Any further discussion? So the motion is on to recommend, on the table to recommend. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
As proposed.
And we have one opposed. 4 to 1.
And who made the motion? Steve, thank you.
Article 22, to see if the town of Ashland will vote to raise and appropriate $100,000 for the purpose of developing a comprehensive plan to redevelop the town of Ashland waterfront beach area. $50,000 to come from grant funds. They've already got an approved grant. I'll need a recommendation, please.
What's the tax impact?
11 cents, I'm sorry.
Can I, you want to speak?
No, you don't want to take it, go.
Sure, what, and we're going to be doing an outreach communication on this. This is the goal of the Economic Development Committee who is putting this together, is to not have any local tax cost ultimately for this project. But because of restrictions of what we can do when, with the grant money, we are just now in a position where we can go out and solicit donations. So with this grant we have, it's a $100,000 grant. The feds provide 50,000, and the town is required to provide 50,000 of either funds or in kind. And those funds can come from other sources. So we are now starting to go out and look for, and we do know we have some in-kind money that we will be able to be putting into this. And we feel we can get donations from the community, the business community, to cover that other 50,000. And so we are working on that now. Ron said he will help us keep track of it. We're hoping to have a good portion of it already pledged before the actual warrant vote. So our goal is to not need any local tax money for this project. That's, yes.
Could I also add that the grant total was $50,000, a total of $100,000, but there's nothing that says that we have to spend $100,000.
Right.
We could come in at 60.
Right, but, so that's, we're hopeful, and our goal is to raise enough money from other sources to not impact the local tax. Yes.
Isn't this just for the feasibility study, not for the actual redevelopment?
No, it's not for the actual redevelopment. We have to, the DES requires us to have an engineer. We've got to look at the water, where the flow of the water. They don't want us to be sending all kinds of sand down the river, so there's things we have to get, we're required to have an engineer to tell us what we can and can't do, and until we get that, we can't do anything with looking at the beach. But ultimately, we're looking at, I mean, the bathhouse is at end of life. There are a number of things in the beach that needs to be taken care of or could better serve the community. We know the community has a lot of other more pressing needs, so that's why we think this is a good economic development project for the city. It will be good for the community, but we are going to be actively seeking funds from other places now that we've gotten past the grant award part, which we need to do, and then we can't actually collect the funds until after the warrant article. But we're hoping to have a sizable portion, if not all of this, pledged before the actual vote. And that's our goal. Yes.
Mandy?
Pick somebody.
And he's,
Frank?
Oh, I was gonna say, can you write the warrant with those conditions in
I
place?
tried, they would not let me. Right, I brought it, and you go, no, you gotta do it, it has to be this way.
Okay.
Because I had some stuff in there that said, it only tax if we need this, but we're looking to do that, and they would not, we can't. The whole raise and appropriate, and we're not raising 100, we're really looking for 50, because we already get, but we've had those discussions.
Bob?
Andy, Senator Lang for our district has posted that the new funds that are being distributed to the cities and towns from, I think it's from the rooms and meals tax. Ashland's gonna get another $400,000. Have you heard anything about that?
I haven't heard a word.
I think you should look at it, he posted it online, of all the towns in his district, what they were gonna get from this grant, and Ashland's gonna get 400 and change.
No.
So,
Morris.
No, we got 197,000.
Supposed to get 400.
That post from Senator Lang actually says 197,000. That's what we received in December.
I think
That is something that the state decides each year, and we don't know
I think
that
it was
number
Laconia
until
that got the
it's
more.
Yeah.
I think it was Laconia, Bob.
Yeah.
They got the higher number. It was Laconia.
Also, Laconia got the higher number.
I wish we'd gotten the higher number.
Well, we did get, $90,000 more than we did last year, so we're doing better.
So do I have a recommendation on Article 22?
I'll make the recommendation for Article 22, and I would just add to the terrific presentation that Jenny made, that we got the grant because people providing the money believe that this is an economic opportunity, that the development of that beachfront in that area, in a way that is environmentally sound, of course, will lead to additional economic activity right there at the beach area, but also it will spread to the rest of the towns in terms of making this a more desirable location. So I want to be clear that that's why we got the money. It's not just to fix up an old beach. It's because they believe it's a valuable site. And I make the recommendation that it's adopted.
And what people put that out there? You said people, can you tell me what people are the ones that are pushing this?
We got the money from a grant from the MVRC, who give grants as seed money for economic projects that have potential for future economic development as a result of this investment. And that's the basis of the grant being awarded.
And who were the people that wrote letters for this? To recommend it for the townspeople?
There's, he's asking,
Okay.
we had letters.
My name is Ellen Levinson. So we have it from Representative Maggie Goodlander. We had it from Executive Counselor Hill, and Karen Hill. We had it from River. We had to have one that was the adjacent to it, so we have it from River's Edge. We have it from the Common Man from Alex Ray, and then we have it from Packard for, it's -33.
And Plymouth Rotary Club?
And from and then we have it from, so we don't have a Chamber of Commerce here, and we don't have a Rotary Club here, but the Plymouth area, the Plymouth Rotary Club includes our area, so they also wrote one too, and they're interested in helping us. That was one of the issues, was that we don't have a chamber here or anything like that. That's unfortunate.
Can I ask a question real quick, please?
Yep.
Was part of this agreement to give the grant based on the fact that we are one of the poorest towns and that we really need something to shoot us in the arm? Was any of it based on the fact that we are poor?
Yes.
That was?
Yes.
Okay, so that was the
That's
premise
part of
that
it.
went into them wanting to help us get redeveloped.
Grafton County as a whole doesn't qualify for these grants, but they identify certain towns in Grafton County that are what they call distressed communities. And Ashland is a distressed community, so we qualify for this Northern Borders Regional Commission grant.
Thank you for your work.
Go ahead.
I just was wondering if this will take into consideration everything that was designated by the donor of the property for the beach.
Well, yes. We've got a deed, we've got the deed, specifically what the deed says, and we have to follow that. We will follow what is in the deed, because we have to, because we could lose the property, so yes.
Thank you.
Question for Showola. I just wanted to comment on the cost of running the Parks and Rec program. So our total program.
Now, let's get back to the,
A quick question.
let's get back to the warrants.
I'm asking if right now the taxpayers fund about $75,000 of the Parks and Rec program, if we implement a new beach in the next 2 or 3 years, is it thought that that beach would break even, or would the town of Ashland continue to subsidize the Parks and Rec program?
We haven't talked about that at all. We haven't.
But there would be an opportunity. We're imagining there'd be an opportunity to have higher revenues at the new beach so that we can cover the cost of running our beach.
I'm not saying we can't, but we have not reviewed that, so I don't see.
This is
And the
this is
town
a
doesn't
feasibility
subsidize the Park and
study
Rec
only.
This is feasibility.
Once we get the information from the feasibility study, we'd be better. We'd
What to
be
answer that.
better prepared to answer that question. Because we don't know what we're allowed to do down there, and
Makes sense, but I just wanna go on record as saying Anne Marie Barney has done an amazing job increasing revenue in the program to try to cover as many costs. I don't think there's levers there, so in order to increase revenue in the town of Ashland, we need something bigger and newer, because it used to break even. She's done everything she can over the last 5 or 10 years to try to make that program cost effective, and we need some new ideas. I don't think she can do any more there.
okay, let's get back to Article 22. I've got a recommendation, I've got a motion to recommend. Do I have a second?
Can I second?
I have a motion and a second. Do I have any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Opposed?
I have an issue. I don't understand how Anne is voting on this. She should be recusing herself.
I don't understand why these two are voting on this.
'Cause they're on that committee.
They should be recusing themselves.
So what's the difference?
This is gonna be decided by the voters, we're not gonna decide it here. The voters always go their own way.
No, they don't get paid by the town.
They're not a town employee. They're not a town employee.
Article 23.
Article 23, to see if the town of Ashland is in favor of increasing the Veteran Special Disabled Property Tax Credit from, to $4,750 from $4,000 under the provisions of RSA 72:35. The purpose of this increase is to replace the loss of Veterans Property Tax Credit, RSA 72:28 of $750, which they are no longer eligible for due to a change in the state of New Hampshire legislative rules. The House bill that passed it was HB 99. Do I have a recommendation on this? And this affects 8 people in town.
I'll make the recommendation.
4?
Article 23.
Yeah, okay.
I'll second.
So I have a motion and a second to recommend Article 23. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Article 25. This is a petitioned warrant article. The tax impact is 3 cents. We, the registered voters in the town of Ashland, present this petitioned article to be included in the 2026 Town of Ashland warrant. Shall the voters raise and appropriate $12,000 to the Grafton County Senior Citizens Council for services for Ashland residents from July 1st of 24 to June 30th of 25. Grafton County Senior Citizens Council Incorporated provided services to 68 Ashland residents and Aging and Disability Resource Center, formerly known as ServiceLink, provided services to 12 residents. These services, including nutrition, transport, outreach support activities, and more. The cost of providing these services was $79,676.69. Do I have a recommendation?
I'll recommend.
I'll second.
I have a recommendation and a second. Do we have any further discussion?
Yeah, I had a quick question. Was this 24 or 25?
25.
We had
25.
20.
We're on 25.
24 is just a placeholder. We haven't received that
Okay, so.
petition warrant article yet.
Okay, so it's fine.
Yep.
Okay. So I have a motion and a second. Do I have any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Article 26, estimated tax impact 2 cents. To see if the town of Ashland will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $9,746 for the Pemmy Baker House, Pemmy Baker Hospice and Home Health. As a nonprofit agency, they provide services without regard to ability to pay and serves many uninsured and underinsured clients. Many of the services provided are not fully covered by insurance. The requested appropriation amounts to less than $5 per year per resident based on recent census data and represents a small fraction of the costs of providing services to the residents in their home. They provide home health, hospice, palliative care services in the Ashland community, as well as education programs, workshops, and bereavement counseling. These services to uninsured and underinsured patients help the town limit welfare payments for medical services. Do I have a recommendation?
I'll make the recommendation.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
So I have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Petition warrant article 27. The town of Ashland, will the town of Ashland raise and appropriate funds totaling $4,980 for the Lakes Region Mental Health Center to support the delivery of high-level access to mental health care? LRMHC provides comprehensive mental services, including 24/7 access to emergency services and the LRMHC Mobile Crisis Response, which reports to a mental health emergency whenever or wherever the individual is located, whether at work, home, school, or elsewhere in the community. In early 2025, LRMHC opened the doors at a Place to Go in Plymouth, which offers short-term mental health stabilization services upon referral. Services are provided to anyone in need, regardless of their ability to pay. Do I have a recommendation?
I will make the recommendation to approve.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
So I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Petitioned warrant article 28, tax impact 1 cent. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $5,297 for 2026 to support Voices Against Violence, a nonprofit crisis center and shelter providing emergency shelter, court, and hospital accompaniment and general support to women, men, and children who are victims of domestic and sexual violence, stalking, human trafficking, and bullying. Do I have a recommendation?
I'll make the recommendation. I'll second.
So I have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Petition warrant Article 29, estimated tax impact, 1 cent, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $3,876 for the operation of the following Tri-County Community Action Program Incorporated Services in Ashland. Includes fuel and energy assistance, guardianship, Head Start, community action resource coordinators, USDA, TEFAP, food distribution to pantries, the free diaper distribution program. Do I have a recommendation?
I'll make the recommendation.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Do I have a motion and a second? Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. I need somebody else to read Article 30 because I will be abstaining from it.
To raise and appropriate 1,250 to support Transport Central in providing essential medical transportation for qualified Ashland residents. Do we have a recommendation?
I'll make the recommendation.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a first and a second. Any questions? All in favor? Say aye.
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 Abstain.
Abstain. Okay.
Petition warrant Article 31, estimated tax impact 1 cent. To see if the town will vote to raise $3,000 to be deposited into the account of the Ashland Historical Society for the purpose of maintenance and repairs to the Whipple House Museum owned by the town of Ashland. Do I have a recommendation?
I'll make the recommendation.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
So you only have that one you passed over. You're gonna take that one and put it in the next meeting?
Yes, table,
Okay.
5, right?
It was the blasting ordinance, folks?
No, it was the excavation ordinance.
Oh, excavation. Yep. Okay.
Next item on the agenda is the EDC. Peter, you want to tell us what you guys are up to, where you're at?
I can, or I asked everybody to come prepared to speak about what they're working on. I think I'd rather handle it that way if I could.
It's fine.
And, well, we've already spoken about the beach.
Yep.
So John is off the hook. So maybe we can start with you.
Peter has asked me to start focusing on the master plan, and I'm in the process of putting that into Google Docs so that we can all get copies of it and then break it down to sections like remember. I actually appreciate the work that has been done back in 2010. I'm learning history that I didn't know about the town, and it's brought up a lot of questions about, you know, what's happened in between then and now, and then I'll look towards the future. So I think it's gonna be a great exercise for us to focus on that, look ahead.
I would follow up, Bonnie, on saying that just, it's something the town hasn't looked at since that historical view in 2010, 2012, were some of the last articles I saw. And much of our future as a town really requires the thought process of who are we and what do we want to be going forward. Also, for consideration of additional grants, it's a significant factor as we pointed out, the beach, we got the grant because there was true economic development opportunity. Well, we have lots of those real economic development opportunities that we could use more grants for. And a good, solid master plan, and these agencies, they want to see that we're thinking about it, and that we're going to be able to define why we should get more money and what we're going to do with it, and how it's going to benefit the town, the people. And so it's a major item in terms of promoting our growth, and something that's long overdue for us to update and continue. So thank you for your.
On the mill?
I have a question on that.
Go ahead.
Does that article, warrant article 13, help this project?
Yes,
Okay,
that's what that's for, to help finance it. It's an expensive process.
okay.
Do we have anybody else?
Yeah, Jenny, go.
Are we,
Well, on our team, we do, as first question.
no, are we all set with the master plan?
The only clarification, is there an end date when this is, have we set a goal? Is it gonna be 2027? Do we know?
You'll have to ask Kendall, is he still online?
I don't. Yes, he is.
Yes, I am.
Did you hear the question, Kendall?
I did. The planning board has been working on it last year. We'll continue to work on it this year. We have a goal of going before the voters with the new master plan on March of 27.
Thank you, Kendall.
So next year's warrant.
That's aggressive. There's a lot to get done in a year.
That is. Yep.
Need a lot of community input and everything.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, I would clarify from the Economic Development Committee's point of view, they're not working on the whole master plan, that's kind of the planning board.
Segment, yeah.
We have the economic development portion of the master plan, and setting the goals and the
Chapter
targets for the future, chapter 8, yes. So it's a big job, it's being spread over a couple of boards, and we're bringing some energy to bear on that, and trying to get it into a condition to submit to the voters.
Okay.
Something back there.
Hi.
Okay.
Just to Kendall's answer, I'm curious, last year, we were all at the charrette, several of us at the charrette, not enough of us, but there were several. And that was the whole point then, was that in order to have them come in and help redevelop the town like they did in Littleton and other towns that they proposed, we had to have this master plan. It seemed more aggressive last year when we were talking 2024 to 2025. Now, is the 2027 date that Kendall's talking about different than what we were talking about at the charrette, or is that the same process?
Did you hear that, Kendall?
He's muted.
He's still muted.
I just wondered if the charrette was still going to happen, and,
As far as I know, the charrette is still going to happen.
I think that's still in play.
but now we're talking 2027 before we are, the point. was
The
we
end
had to
game
have-
is 2027.
The end game is.
Yes.
But the applications have already been done, the $7,500 they needed at the time has been paid.
I'm
And all
not
that's
sure.
moving forward like it was last year.
I'm not sure.
I thought they were still looking, I could be wrong, but I thought they were still working on their money.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you know, Ron?
I don't, but I think I have your email. I'll find out and email you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry, I couldn't unmute myself. We actually were denied the charrette because they said our scope was too large. So we're moving forward with doing the rest of the master plan, and we're doing it LRPC is also helping us do that.
Did you pay the $7,500 and then they denied us, or?
We did not pay the $7,500. They didn't. They said that the scope was too big before then.
That's kind of discouraging.
Yeah.
So, excuse me, is there a remedy for that? I just don't, I mean, does anybody know if there's a remedy? In other words, that you could come back with a new, Kendall, hi, this is Ellen Levinson. Is there a remedy for that? Is there a way you can come back with a new budget or, you know, a new plan or, you know, with a scope?
I think the master plan is probably the first step,
Oh, in the charrette.
and then
And then?
Correct. They want the master plan done first.
Okay, I see, okay.
that narrows the scope down a little bit. It gives you focus on what the
So
community.
this is the remedy. If the remedy is getting the master plan
Right.
done, then you can do your charrette.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I think we're all set with that.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna talk about the mill. Everybody probably knows that the mill is kind of a sore on the town that needs to be addressed. There has been some progress. Craig Moore worked in cleaning on the outside. They've done some boarding up of the buildings. And Craig's crew actually did get the road passable, the road that goes up to, the road up above it, I don't remember the name of it, so you can get there. They have put security cameras out so they could watch what's going on because there's been some issues with homeless people trying to keep warm inside that building. So we are at a point though that it would be really helpful, and we've talked about this, is getting all of the junk out of the inside because there was so much stuff, and that has not happened as far as trying to see if there's anybody who might be interested. And I also talked with John Gooden of Minus 33 because they're actually kind of physically connected to the building. And they've been expanding. They've been doing quite a bit down there. They've actually brought manufacturing back to the United States on some of their things. And they do have concerns of that building because of the homeless that occupy it sometimes. So as far as moving forward, we talked about trying to get it cleaned out a little more. We do have all the deeds that go back 150 years, all of it. It is a very interesting thing, but that getting the inside cleaned out would be helpful. But that's something that has not been a priority.
You're gonna have to find a grant for that, I'll guarantee it. It's
Okay.
gonna take a lot of money for that.
Right.
Yeah, I would just add that the objective here is to get it to a condition that we could show it to somebody, you know, and they could view it in a positive light. And most of us have been in that building, we know it. If you haven't, it's an amazing industrial building that, you know, was built to last a long time. It's steel, concrete.
Straight. It is straight on the inside.
Yeah,
It is.
That's right. Well, yeah, to the eye, with the mess everywhere and the superficial ceilings falling down and debris scattered everywhere, I mean, it looks like, you know, it looks like a garbage. Yeah, you know, it's really not in the condition that it would represent itself to anybody that to say this could be a useful facility. But it's manufacturing, industrial grade strong, for the right tenant to come in there and do something worthwhile. But we've got to get it over the threshold where we can begin to show people and try to develop this. It's a town-owned asset. For the last 8 years, all we've done is watch it deteriorate. I think this is the first time we've at least put something, at least we cut the grass and the weeds that were growing outside the building.
We fixed one of the big holes in the roof.
And fixed one of the drains that was, you know, this whole entire flat roof was collecting water, funneling it into a drain, and the drain wasn't attached to anything, and it was just water flowing through the building, you know, just increasing the damage, you know, with every rainfall. So it's a town asset. Many of us feel that it's something that we've got to turn it around and make it a useful building and put a tenant in there that's going to develop it and provide revenue to the town as a result. That's always the bottom line here, as you can see. All we did tonight is talk about all the money we have to spend. Well, you know, the Economic Development Committee is one of the few places we go to discuss how we're going to get more revenue to pay those bills, and this is part of that process.
Well, and to that end, if I can pick up here a little bit, Vito has been in conversations with the Freudenberg folks, and we'll be in conversation with them again next month. And I think everybody here knows about the Owl's Nest initiative, which could be good for the town. So there's some daylight, some sunlight.
So anyways, as far as the mill goes, it would be really helpful if we could go to the next step. And if that's what we need is some grants, we can see what we can find. Because I believe you said, no grants for tearing it down, but grants for developing. So if we're trying to develop it, maybe we can get something.
You mean the Freudenberg?
No, we're
Oh,
talking
you're
about the
talking about the mill
mill.
again?
Talking about the mill in the middle of town, because that's a big space.
Yeah.
Minus 33 is expanding, they're putting money into the building, they're doing more and more, they're right next door. We've got a couple other
We need them
businesses.
to have a storefront on Main Street.
Well, I've mentioned it to them, we're hoping that eventually maybe they would have a storefront on Main Street. Yes, that would be nice.
You need parking.
Well, you know, there is a need for parking, and Ron has been creative on creating some, and he's really creative at doing things, so, I think that is, if we build it and they come, and I think we could work out the parking, it will, we can't do it all at once, but we can, get people down there and then, oh, there's a need for parking.
So that's kind of where we are in.
What's happening with waste energy?
Well, there's no technical waste to energy initiative at the moment. What the Economic Development Committee has been looking at is an opportunity to put a small modular waste consumption unit at the recycle center. And we are working with a provider on a interesting and creative proposal to provide waste management for the town of Ashland, waste disposal, if you will, at no cost, in return for allowing this small, we're kind of talking about 6 or 7 tons of waste a day. Ashland produces maybe 2. They would like to use that excess capacity and charge other municipalities fees to also dispose of their waste. So basically, there's no firm proposal at this point. It's still a lot of talking and coordinating of people who would get involved in this and provide the technology, et cetera. But the idea being that if we were to host this, we would get waste disposal for free, and this entity would be rewarded by doing waste disposal for others. And if you've been to the recent board meetings, select board meetings, we know that mattress disposal is being talked at $40. We're going to be looking at increases in C&D disposal costs and some separation processes that might have to go and be put into effect there. And we know that landfills are getting more expensive, and the future of waste is
not any more environmental.
Yeah, and the future costs are only going to go up. initially, we've been throwing numbers around and, maybe the initial savings to the town is something in the area of $120,000. But we see that increasing in the coming years as waste disposal becomes more and more expensive. If the waste disposal locations become, closed down, or landfills, if you will. And we have to start trucking waste in long distances, which is a possibility. Costs could explode. Now, with all the things going on, I think the Economic Development Committee is doing us all a service in looking for how to keep costs down, eliminate costs in this case. And so this is an important initiative. It'll work out perhaps over the next 3 to 6 months. That's our timeline until we have a proposal that we can show the Board of Selectmen and the residents. But it looks like a promising opportunity. No guarantees at this point, but certainly something we should continue to look at and hope to bring to fruition, because it's real dollars and it's real savings.
Frank?
Yeah, I don't want to get into a big discussion because people know my feelings on this. But what does it have to do with economic development?
Saving money, a penny saved is a penny earned. I don't know if you learned that when you were a kid, but that's what they used to tell us in school. So there's 2 ways to make a town wealthier. Bring in revenue and reduce expenses. So this is the reduce expenses side of the equation, and it has the potential of being a significant expense. So it will definitely add to the well-being of Ashland residents if we're able to do something like this.
Didn't the town vote that down last year?
Yes.
Then why are we doing it?
No, there's a lot of misconception on that. We had something called a waste to energy mega project that was proposed, I think it was 2 years ago. And that was a completely different scope, scale. The town was going to borrow money and create a major industrial plant for waste disposal. I think, I would say that we, people who were involved, economic development people, it was a different committee at that time, but we learned a lot about the process, and also learned a lot about the town's preferences and what we needed to do going forward. So this idea has kind of come out of that knowledge and understanding, where we've just turned around and said, you know what, we don't need anything that big and that grandiose and that complicated. We really can simplify this. The original plan was to make money. This isn't going to make money, but it will save money. And so, as we just said, saving money is important for a simplified scope. This fits in a footprint, the size of a small parking lot, and in property that's already available to us at the recycle center. There's no an enormous volume of trucks and waste coming in and out. It's pretty much not it's something that wouldn't change the operating equation here in town very much at all. And yet there's money in the bank savings for the town, and so we've kind of taken that route at this point.
Well, I'd like to say that Ann is right. I'm not going to get into a great discussion, but the BOS really needs to look at this hard if you get a proposal, because you have to think of this small unit costing around $2 million. Who's going to give that to you for free?
It's a total red herring. Total red herring.
No, that's the beauty of it, Frank. That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it. We're talking to people who have told us they're willing to do it.
Let Frank finish first.
A $2 million facility, when we generate 2 tons of waste a day, and as you said, they will have to.
That $2 million has nothing to do with town money.
One person at a time. One person at a time.
that, as you said, you will have to get waste from other towns. Now, in order to pay back that investment, that's gonna lead to quite a bit of waste, if you look at the details. And again, the devil's in the details. And I know some people don't care about the details, it's just a black box.
Right.
But if you do, you will find that this is not a proposal, and it will end up just like Ann was talking about.
Well, it's got a long way to go.
And the other thing is that the consultant that Charlie has been primarily working with has zero experience in putting any machines. Zero.
Well, he has excellent experience in getting us to $2 million, and that's really what his job is, okay? $2 million that we don't have to spend and allow us to dispose of our waste with their $2 million. So that's really the basis of this arrangement.
At the end of the day, if a vendor can't make money, no one will invest in it.
Yeah.
So if it's $2 million or it's $5 billion, it doesn't matter to us.
Yeah.
There will be no investor that will put their money into this, so it's just not an issue.
And the important part here is that there's no permanent footprint. Should it fail, it's no obligation of the towns. These are modular units that can be picked up on flatbeds and moved out in 24 hours. So that, the real, what I think is the real nice thing here is there's no commitment on the part of the town. And should it not work,
We can go back to the.
stuff goes back on the truck and goes away, and we're no worse off than we are today. So,
But you have
there's a talking point.
You have no proposal.
We
You
have no-
developed an RFP in the committee that was approved, and it's still there.
Why is this information, we've been given a lot of information tonight, why is it not on the website? You should have stuff on the website explaining what you're looking at. There's nothing on the website except for the beach.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, you are correct, and the reason for that has been a moving target till now. This, as I pointed out originally, this is a creative exercise. We don't know of anybody who's done this before, and they certainly haven't done it this way. And what we're looking at, is something that morphs, it has morphed from month to month. Now, I absolutely agree with you that we should have the status of that discussion available for people to look at, and as it changes, it can be updated. So I have no argument with you there. I would just say that because of the details of this and the ongoing discussions.
I don't think it's there yet.
Yeah, and I'm waiting to hear that they are in a position to make a proposals, which that kind of solidifies, what they're presenting, and I haven't quite got that yet.
We have a lot of people asking questions and we're not getting any answers. We need to get that website up to date. If you've got a certain type of machine that they're proposing, it needs to be on the website. We need transparency. Folks aren't getting the answers.
I understand that we need to put stuff on the website, but as far as transparency goes, we are pretty much an open book, right? We're not hiding anything from anybody.
Where's the
Our
information?
meetings are open every 2 weeks. Frank comes, Joe comes, Kathy comes. We let them speak their mind. We don't tell them they can't speak.
But where's the
Wait, didn't
information?
that happen?
She's got the notes.
Go ahead.
Kathleen?
I'm perplexed by the we. Who is the we? We have 2 select board members speaking to these projects. They're wearing 2 hats.
I didn't bring the 2 hats, Kathleen, I'm sorry, maybe I
I'm
would
still
make it easier,
speaking.
but it is 2 roles, and I am.
I have the floor.
And you can speak.
Okay? Who are the we soliciting donations? Who has the authority to solicit donations? Not an advisory board, to my knowledge. What is the template to solicit donations? What are they saying? Who are the we that are going out there? Can I go out and solicit a donation in the name of the town of Ashland? I'm still speaking,
I
please.
just wanted to, you were asking a question.
No, but I'm still, when I stop speaking, then step in. So we have two people up here, we have people here, and they keep using the word "we." Who are the "we"? And they have very limited authority as an advisory group. So if anybody's soliciting to donations, they can only be accepted by the BOS. And if it's a certain amount, the town itself, through the voters. But what is the language being used? What is the purpose that it's being solicited for? Right now, it's a feasibility study. Period. Not a plan of any changes at the beach, because nothing has been decided that is feasible.
I thought we were talking about waste energy. What happened? I missed something.
This is my thought.
Go back to the beach.
So-
Okay, Charlie, did you wanna
So
respond?
I'm done speaking now.
Sorry.
No? So, listen, folks. I think we need to come up with some rules of procedure. I think we need to sit down with you folks and the Board of Selectmen and come up with some rules of procedure. We need to be more transparent. Our stuff has to be on the website. People have to be able to look at it. Bonnie?
We do extensive minutes and all of these, every discussion we've ever had about.
Minutes are minutes, Bonnie. Nobody reads them.
And what would be the vehicle on the website then? Would we have a separate?
On the waste to energy, put up,
It's not waste to energy.
well, okay,
Waste processing facility.
whatever. Put up the website where you can find the information that you're looking at.
If I could comment on that, I mean, there's definitely a need to put out more information, not arguing that. However, I want to talk about the nature of what I've observed on the Economic Development Committee in the way it works and its function and makes it different from other boards. In the Economic Development Committee, it doesn't really need control because it has no authority, and everybody's been clear in pointing that out. And it's almost an oxymoron to say we need to control something that has no authority. So what's the purpose of the Economic Development Committee? Well, it has functioned as a town think tank. It is a place where ideas surface and everyone is welcome to come in and join in that conversation. Anybody is welcome. We acknowledged in the Economic Development Committee, if you see the minutes, they do a great job of making sure everybody who comes is acknowledged in the minutes, and we know who's been there, and if they say something, they get included. But no one is precluded, and in the time I've been with that committee, I've never seen anybody not able to speak or present an idea. Now, when you're talking about documenting things, you need to get past the idea stage before you call it a process and you're gonna start generating paperwork and talking about it as if something might happen. We talk about a lot of things that might never happen, okay? They're ideas that are being generated, which we wanna see if, they're of interest to the community or not. This board is unique in that regard. It doesn't need a structure because the structure would suppress the generation of ideas or perhaps the participation. And we certainly don't want to do that at all in the Economic Development Committee. Now, I'm not an officer on that committee, but the officers, they do a great job of control in a embracing way, an encouraging way of bringing people to state their points of view and debate their points of view when that's the appropriate means of discussion, and make sure that the process is smooth and it has relevance. Okay? And this is something I would not like to see that change. And there's no need to see it change. There's not a problem there that I can see. And there's a number of people in this room come to that meeting, and they participate every time they come. No one's denied the opportunity. It's very different as a forum. It reminds me of just that. Those ancient Greek forums where people assembled. It was a civic assembly, and you could just go there free of a specific agenda and just bring an idea and a thought, or develop an idea over time, whatever is appropriate, and not have the structure of a formal type of committee, strict procedures, an agenda you have to stick to, or what defines the timeline of the meeting. Yes, we do have an agenda at economic development, but it's often, there are deviations from that when it's appropriate, and the officers of that committee, they control that process. So I'm making the point here that this is a very special place, this Economic Development Committee in the town, and it does what I think is an exceptional job. It knows that it has no authority. The power it has the power of ideas, and that in a democracy is a major contributor to the benefit of the town. And then those ideas will flow through the formal processes, and they will be they'll be voted on by the boards, they'll be voted on by the people, and those ideas that pass muster will go on to make this a better place, and that's the real goal.
Okay, so in one of our last meetings, I was asked why or what my concerns were with the Economic Development Committee. And for me, I'm really concerned about the transparency as well for a few reasons. For one, the waste to energy, the town voted it down. I don't know why you even started looking into it again. Whether you changed the name of it or not, it's the same thing. And I'm sure the town's gonna see it that way. The beach plan, yes, I agree. The beach needs to have some things done to it to make it better. However, the plan that the Economic Development Committee has is over the top. That is not something this town needs or will use. I mean, it's just to make the businesses around it money. And my other concern is no other committees around have two board members on them who both vote on the board and on that committee. That's not how it should be. It's not done with any other committee or board or anything else in the town. I'm not sure why, when both of you were put on the board, one did not step down and just have one person go and vote like we do for the budget committee or any other committee. I think that's something we need to look at.
There's no statutory authority that prevents two board members from participating on the economic.
But are you two gonna not vote on board stuff if it has anything to do with the EDC?
There is no restriction.
I understand
on our
that,
ability to
but
vote on both committees if necessary.
I don't vote when it has anything to do with the beach. I voted tonight and people lost their minds, quite honestly.
We don't get paid for either our participations. They're purely voluntary.
You get paid from the board, not much, but you do.
That's making a stretch.
So we've had, hang on folks, we've had two groups of lawyers tell us the same thing. We should not have two sitting board members on the same committee. We should have one board member that is that is allowed to vote, the other should be an alternate. We've had two sets of lawyers tell us this.
You can have a full-time employee.
I'm not full-time,
No,
thanks.
full-time, read the definition in the RSA, what full-time determines.
I am not full-time.
You're right, you're right.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to
Hold
see
on.
an RSA.
Hold on.
I'm
Bob.
recognized, thank you. Bob Turner again, from Thompson Street. I've seen this movie before. I came from a town called Derry. I was on the Derry Economic Development Committee, and we brought in millions of dollars with a commercial property and got things going. And then it became a fight between the town council, I was the board of selectmen down here, the town council and the board. And all the people that were on that board, the board that I was on, were lawyers, they were doctors, they were businessmen. They do have their own business. And it all died because it was a squabble. You need to fix this. These people who were on this committee are townspeople who were given their personal time, and they care enough to do this at no cost, at no money to them. And we can't even get people to fill the boards we have, that really wants to step up and join some of the boards we have. And
Boards are all
step up.
full right now.
Well, they are now, but I remember a time when you couldn't get anybody to do it. These people have stepped up. I'm just saying, I'm not saying who's right, who's wrong, I'm just saying you need to fix it. Because economic development committees make things happen.
And that's why I say we need rules of procedure.
And I agree, you know, you just get together and fix it. But, you know, don't make it so bad that people walk away. I mean, you need
Which is a
to.
possibility.
Right.
That's why we sit and talk. That's why I ask. And so far, I'm hearing, no, we're not gonna do that.
Well, I mean, it has to be give and take on both sides. I'm just saying, I've seen the movie before, and it doesn't end well. And there's no reason for it. It was really good for the town of Derry for a point in time, but, you know, town council decided that they wanted to run the whole show, and, you know, and nothing happened there except taxes went up.
So, Andy, if I
Well
could,
said.
I got out of there.
thanks, Bob. If I could just weigh in here, because I'm hearing something different from you. What I'm hearing is there's no transparency. I heard it from both of you.
Mm-hmm.
And you said, no transparency, and then you went on to list some things. None of them had to do with transparency. And so I'm wondering, what is it about our committee that's not transparent?
Where's the
We're-
information?
They're gathering.
These,
Yeah.
The plans
they
for the
may
beach.
be
Did you give-
gathering it,
We're having a presentation on Saturday for the town.
Right.
yeah?
I-
Okay. What about what Charlie's been working on? There is absolutely nothing. The town's folks
Our
are asking
Our
questions.
meetings are recorded.
Right. And the problem is there is nothing. That is the current status of that
I mean,
project.
if you want us to.
Do you
we'll
have
fill
a
out the
website
webpage.
you can
That's-
look
that's
at that
fine.
stuff
We'll
on?
start posting stuff to the
Nothing to look
website. If that's our failing, we're happy to do it.
Listen, let's sit down and let's talk about this. Rules of procedure, we'll figure it out, we'll work on it together. That's what I'm asking you to do.
And to your point, just a minute ago, you said, oh, I'm hearing this no. Who said no? I didn't say no. Who on this committee said no?
Did you hear what he said?
I did. He doesn't want.
It sounded to me like he doesn't want change.
I don't think that's.
That's what it sounded like to me. You didn't want change, Charlie.
Andy, there's nobody here who wants change more than me. I mean, and I think most of the people
Okay,
here know
then
that.
I misunderstood you. So when can we get together?
I thought this was the
They all thought tonight was tonight.
Yeah, we're here.
That's why,
I
that's
mean,
what I'm using.
No, we've got to gather materials. Both sides have got to gather up materials.
Before we
It's
get to
helpful
that,
when the town posts the website too, to let us know when these little impromptu meetings are, 'cause I don't do Facebook, so I had somebody from Woburn, Massachusetts tell me there was a meeting tonight.
Well, I,
And
It's
I
on the
went to
website.
town hall. First I went to the post office, then I went to the library, then I went to the town hall to see where this meeting was posted.
And as the
And it was
chairman
not posted.
of the economic.
On the
I
website,
wasn't,
again,
I wasn't
you're
informed about
taking.
the.
Hang on, folks, one at a time.
So I went to those towns and I asked Rebecca, I said, Rebecca, somebody from Woburn, Massachusetts told me there's a meeting tonight. She goes, oh, yeah, there is. I said, well,
Yeah.
why isn't it on the bulletin board? Why isn't it posted? Well, it's on our website. Well, I'm sorry, I looked at the website, I download every month when the select board meetings are. So it wasn't in my calendar because it wasn't posted until Friday.
Yeah, it
So-
was posted Friday.
Right. But when you download the month's agenda, the month's calendar.
At the beginning of the month, you don't get the
I
ad.
don't go back and
Right.
re-look at it
Right.
and see, oh, but wouldn't it be helpful if it said, hey, by the way, we changed plans, we're gonna have a meeting on this date? Then, I was there at 3 o'clock this afternoon, she says, yep, it's at the Collins building, yada, 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 we get home from work, we feed the dog, we do what we have to do. We walk up there because it's just up top, and we get there, and there's no cars in the driveway. Like, again, why can't I get the emergency call like I get when the electric company goes out, or I get when the fire has a problem, that says, this is what's happening in our town. So transparency, yes, we all need more transparency.
And if I could, I don't know if this was supposed to be a conversation with the Economic Development Committee or a conversation about the Economic Development Committee, but nobody reached out to me as the chairman.
Actually, Ron reached out to you today.
Today.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you're lucky Ron thought about it because it went right over my head.
Because I asked Ron, I mentioned it to Ron, because I.
Thanks, Ron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here to help.
So Peter, when can you and Jana meet with Ron and I and we'll start talking about a procedure?
I can do it any late afternoon.
Any late afternoon?
So what's that? Yeah, except,
Not tomorrow.
Yeah, next week,
yeah, so let's do Tuesday afternoons.
okay?
Next week,
Yeah, next week.
next week.
Okay.
27th?
Ron, I'm gonna assume it's your office?
Yeah.
What
4
time?
o'clock?
Next Tuesday is the 20th.
I work.
Oh, you have a public hearing on the 20th, 5:30. Selectmen's public hearing. According to
It's
the calendar.
okay, we're not gonna be hours at this.
4?
Oh, 4?
Or,
you say?
next, not this Tuesday, but next Tuesday.
The 20th.
Okay, it looks good, Jana has to check on Dr.
Yeah, that's okay.
They can call me at
We
the
can
office.
move it.
Yeah.
It's not a huge deal. Joe, you want to say something?
Yeah, and Highland finished, number one, and number two, on the WTE thing, the town primarily voted against it on account of they didn't want other people, other towns bringing their garbage into this town. You know, it was as simple as that. They didn't want to be known as Trashland, okay? So with us getting an additional 5 tons of garbage a day, here we go again. So this was one of the reasons why it was knocked down. And whatever is being proposed is not changing that in any way, shape, or form. Okay, it's still gonna be trash coming into town. But as I said, Ann was talking and didn't get to finish. Ann?
Well, about the beach and stuff, when you guys put in for the grant, it was just supposed to be to get a plan of study, correct?
Feasibility studies always.
And, you did not tell them that you already had a plan of what you want to do.
Can I speak to this? I mean, I work.
Hang on, let her finish.
Oh, when you're done, let me know, Ann, because I can tell you what we submitted. If you wanna know what we submitted, it's obviously you.
No, I have it.
Yeah.
I have what you submitted.
We did not submit a plan.
I know you didn't, but you have a plan
No,
that you
I
brought.
I don't think
That was very bland.
Oh my goodness. And
It was mailed on What date, what's the date?
What are you talking about? Okay, I had to submit
Where is
this
this?
because somebody had to write it. We did not have a plan, and I made it.
I know you didn't send them a,
Conceptual.
right,
In fact, it's the exact opposite. The fact is, in fact, Andy had brought this point up. Remember when we started, I didn't know anything about this. And originally I thought, oh, there was a plan, you're gonna go and ask for, funding for the infrastructure project. And then I learned there wasn't any plan. And we needed to get a feasibility study done, we needed to identify the options, you needed to get the cost estimates, you needed to do the whole thing, and then get all of that together, come up with the best plan possible, and then they do the design, and that would all be done in conversation with the town. So that's what we applied for. This is called a catalyst grant. The whole point is to catalyze development of this town and to attract, not just for everybody here to have more and better access to, year-round outdoor activities, which, by the way, is in your master plan. It is a goal that you've never done. And so, it goes beyond that, and it's going to be an economic development for the whole town. That's why we applied for this grant. So I don't know what that is, but I get really annoyed when I hear this, because first of all, I had nothing to do with any of that, and that was not.
I didn't say you did,
Well, that's
but
what I'm
people
trying to say,
from
but-
that board did come to me
yeah,
and show me,
But what I'm trying to tell you is when we did this, this was not done for a particular plan. It was to help develop one that would meet the economic goals and also to serve the residents of this town, all the residents with multiple outdoor activities. The stuff that was in that master plan was never done. So I feel very, I'm sorry that there's such a misunderstanding, because it's very clear if you read the application, we never had a plan in there. So I understand there was some kind of rumors that went on beforehand, and please, I just beg
Stay off
you
of
to
Facebook.
get off of that.
how about emails?
No, we can't get off of it.
Why? Because
There is a concept drawing out there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
These were just ideas. I'm responsible for that. They were ideas.
Conceptual.
Yes, they're ideas.
But so
The
what-
town knows about it.
Yeah, but there were
The
lots.
town can't see it. The townsfolk can't see it.
But, well, I'm
That
sorry,
goes
we're
back
starting-
to-
We're starting over, Andy. You're absolutely right that people talked about this, I understand. Not only that, but that was part of the EDC's job, was to go around and they talked to the state, or they talked to they talked to business and affairs, and they came down and looked at it. They talked to, the DES. They went and they met with the snowmobile, the snowmobile people.
And they met with Ann.
They met with Ann, they met with you, I understand. But I'm just trying to say, they did that because that was their job. But
Okay,
that doesn't
so-
mean there's a plan, okay? I really would love to get off that because I feel like it kind of undermines the whole reason we have this grant.
So listen, have you ever seen a concept that came out as a plan?
Have I?
You have listed, you want a canoe launch, kayak
No,
launch.
It states, these are some of the things.
These
we
are
could
some of the
discuss.
things.
We could discuss.
Come up with a
That's it.
concept that shows where these might be and put it on the website, so people have an
I'm
idea.
sorry,
You don't know.
what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about now.
We don't know.
Okay, so what we're
Where's-
doing is having a public meeting on Saturday to discuss the options, to say, but that's not what that's about.
Okay, so what I'm saying is,
I'm not sure what
have a list of, you have a list of things that are possible. Show a show a concept.
That's a conceptual plan.
This is a
That was-
conceptual plan.
That is not a plan, we do not have that plan. Does
It-
anybody, I'm sorry, where is that plan? It's not existing in town office, so because
It's
somebody
right
has
here.
a piece of
It's on
paper-
Barry God's
So did
vision
you
board.
approve this? Did you approve that?
No,
Oh, okay, all right, so there's no plan. You,
it's a concept.
There's some,
yeah, but that's not what we're gonna bring in, that's the whole idea, is that you're going to have people who study the options, and they talk to the town about what the town would like to see, and then they say, okay, and what are the needs of the town, and what fits the economic development concept in serving the needs of the residents. But that is not, that's how you go about creating a project.
And
You
what,
do come in and you do an analysis, yes, and that's what this is going to do, and then you can develop the plan. You can't develop a plan until this, there's a groundwork, there's no groundwork yet.
and
You
what
can't
I'm
talk
telling
about
you is you folks have listed, we can possibly do this, we can
Well,
possibly do this,
I
we can
think
possibly do
you're talking about
this.
the flyer? Okay, because people have asked, what do you mean? And they say, well, these are ideas.
And
These are
they're
just
gonna
like-
wanna
Okay.
know where it might go.
Yeah, I know, but.
The
that-
beach is a big area. Where are you gonna put your
Well, that's
launching?
That's what the feasibility study will find out. That's the whole point. You hit the nail on the head. That's what the feasibility study does.
The
Exactly.
feasibility study's not gonna lay it out for it. It's gonna tell you whether you can do it or not.
And it also, there's a difference, okay? The Catalyst grant is a special kind of grant, and it isn't just a study. It also then goes, it can develop the plan. If you read what we submitted, it says that very clearly. It is the study, it's considering the options, and then it's going to analyze that, the cost estimate, and it's going to also help develop the plan. So I'm sorry that there's a misunderstanding there, but please, that's what it says, and I don't know why that's misunderstood. And we posted that on the website, you asked us to, and you asked them to, and they did, and so now you're saying it's something that it's not. Okay, that's what it is. It's a study and a development of a plan based on that study in consultation with the plan, with the town. And the board, you BOS, you have to vote to approve whatever the report has. So, it's a process. And I feel very bad that people haven't understood that. I thought it was made clear, but it's obviously not, so we'll try to do our best.
Well, you can clear this all up
morning,
Saturday.
we need to- Saturday, that's why we're having that, because we feel like people have misunderstood. It's a process, and that's what we really need to talk about. And I think, Andy, you're raising the point that that's what it is. We have not explained that this is a process to get to a good plan that can then go out, and then you can see, the funding to get the infrastructure project done.
Well, I think the reason the people are, don't have the right idea, they're concerned with things is, attached is the conceptual design for the Ashland Town Beach. Please ask legal counsel not to distribute this drawing to anyone other than himself. It is not for public purview. So that is not being transparent.
I didn't do that.
I did not say you did.
But the EDC didn't do that.
We didn't do that.
Members of the EDC did do that.
We didn't do that. When was this?
Nobody knows what you're talking about, Ann.
The people who wrote it do.
So who sent the email?
When
Who
was
sent
it?
that?
Who gave that to you? Tell us, this is like a random piece of paper.
What's the date? This is John and Jana.
Husband and wife.
And who did you answer that?
They came to town hall.
They came to town hall, when? As part of the EDC submission? No way.
Way back when we first, it was.
October.
To get us thinking about
It was
what
in
would the
October.
beach be.
Oh, okay, so it was just a,
It's a conceptual plan.
oh, it was a.
That you've had since.
Yeah, but that was not submitted, this is not a formal.
We're not saying it was.
It wasn't
Oh,
submitted
okay. Well,
to,
there we go.
it's a conceptual plan
Well,
that
I
was
think it was to
brought
help
to
people
town hall.
visualize them, they were just trying to help people visualize.
Well, that's part of the transparency
Yeah,
and
and
getting
they
it
were
out there.
trying to talk to people about it, but honestly, there isn't a plan in advance, okay? And I know, Ann, you gave some ideas that are good ideas, and everybody did. I mean, I was impressed by, the research they had done. They had a list this long of people who had ideas from talking to people in the town, but none of those are real yet, okay? None of them are real. It can't be real until you have the study done, and you have the engineering concept, you have the environmental issues. There's a lot to be done, and it will be done, and it will be done right. That's the whole goal, so you have something good. And also, you can do more activities there that you can with all sorts of, recreational activities, which was in the master plan. So, I'm sorry that happened. I mean, I don't know how to, it's a confusion, but let's move on and let's get to the reality. We're gonna talk about the process on Saturday, and maybe that'll help. Thank you.
Ellen is actually not part of the committee.
No.
She's made many valuable contributions that may be an option to deal with the two boards of selectmen on it.
I would like to say one thing, or comment. I want to thank everybody who is here, who are either interested, and people at this table and the Economic Development Committee are all volunteers, all here because they hope to make things better. The board gets here because we hope to make things better, and all of you people here to listen to what's going on, to make contributions. So I just want to thank everybody for their patience and their willingness to come back to the next meeting, or whatever we have, just to continue this process of moving this town, this wonderful place that we live in, to its next phase of greatness.
Ann, are we done? Does anybody have anything else?
All done.
I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'm gonna go.
We're out of here.